Hello everyone. Welcome to the third lecture of fifth week of scalable data mining course. In this lecture, we are discussing the problem of counting distinct elements in a stream. Okay, and uh, in this lecture, we are going to discuss the k minimum value sketch. So note that in the last lecture we have discussed the Flageolet-Martin sketch. Okay, and if you remember, the guarantees given by Flageolet-Martin sketch was suppose n is your distinct elements. Okay, so the guarantees given by Flageolet-Martin was that n hat, the estimate that you find, will lie within n by 4 and 4n with probability 1 minus delta if you use the median estimate. So let me write with probability 1 minus delta if you take the median estimates with k copies. So you run k copies of Flageolet-Martin and take the median estimate where your k is basically equal to log over 1 by delta, right? So log of 1 by delta. This is something like omega of, okay, that is, this should be greater than or equal to log over some constant times log 1 over delta. Okay. Uh, so the problem is that if you recall, we were trying to get a bound which is of this form. So just to make sure, so this is called this is a epsilon delta approximation. This is something like an additive approximation. Okay, so you are not deviating, okay, by more than epsilon times n. Okay, whereas here you see you are having a multiplicative approximation, or there is an approximation ratio here. So you are not going to deviate by a factor of more than 4. Okay, so this is additive, this is multiplicative. Okay, so we want to get this accuracy of uh, the additive accuracy. Okay, so that is one of the drawbacks of Flageolet-Martin sketch, which will not be present in the k minimum value sketch. Okay, uh, the other kind of drawback is that if suppose you consider the situation where you have two streams, okay, okay, and let's say you have two servers, okay, and each server is receiving a stream, okay, and you are maintaining a sketch in each of the servers for computing the the number of distinct elements. Okay, but can we compute the number of distinct elements in the union of two streams? Okay, so suppose two servers are receiving these. So there are two, so this is S1 and another server is S2. Okay, now can we say that I want virtually or in a distributed manner, let us say, I want to compute the minimum value where I have S1 union S2. So all elements of S1 and all elements of S2 are now coming here. Okay, and you can check clearly that it is not the sum of the number. So if for example this is n1 hat and this is n2 hat, so then suppose so your n of S1 union S2 hat, okay, is clearly not equal to n1 hat plus n2 hat. Okay, so you cannot just find the because there may be elements in the intersection. Okay, so so you cannot just find the number of distinct elements and just add them up. Okay, but if you are able to find the let's say the union of this, okay, somehow, okay, then you will be able to also find the number of elements in the intersection, number of distinct elements in the intersection of these two streams. Okay, so these are the two things which k minimum value sketch offers, which the other sketch does not offer. Okay, okay, so now consider uh, so the question is, how do we do it? Okay, so so in this case, for understanding, so we also use a hash function based method here, but now in this case we use a hash function which produces a real number in the range 0 to 1. Okay, now this is very easy. So if you are having a hash function in the range, let's say like earlier, in the range of 2 to the power L, okay, of it is producing an integer from 0 to 2 to the power L. Okay, you can always divide it by 2 to the power L and produce such a number. Okay, and in fact that is one of the ways of generating the hash function, but for the sake of analysis we will assume, and the this will have uh, uh, some sort of repercussion on how much granularity we will get. Okay, but for simplicity of analysis we will assume that we get actually a continuous number between 0 and 1. Okay, so as previously, our sketch is still a number, so this is our sketch. Okay, and here we are just going to maintain the minimum value. Okay, so obviously when there is no data, we initialize this to 1. Okay, so then 1 is the minimum value. Okay, now for each item xi, we just compute the minimum of the current y and the hash of xi. Okay, and we update the y like this. So we basically maintain the running minimum value of this hash function. Okay, uh, another very important idea here is that your hash function h should be such that, so you are generating a number between 0 to 1. Okay, so your h should be uniform. Okay, uh, uniform. So what do we mean? We mean that for each x, okay, the probability that x falls, uh, x takes a value in some range is equal. Okay, so let's say x takes value from any, let's say z to z plus delta is just going to be 1 by delta. Okay, so this is true for any z. Okay, so this is what we mean by a uniform distribution over the real interval, right? So any value can come with the same probability. Okay, so our algorithm is simple. So we are generating the minimum value. So we are maintaining the minimum value of this hash function. So two things: we use a uniform hash function, and we maintain the minimum value of this hash function. Okay. Now, what do we return? Okay, so what is our or how do we return the number of distinct count? Okay, so this is the calculation that we do at every step. How do we return the distinct count? Okay. So in order to arrive at that, we use this particular result. Okay. So what is this? What is this result says? It says, suppose you take the minimum over I h of xi, which is what you are computing. So this is just your y. Okay. So this is what you are computing. Okay. In a online manner, you are computing this minimum over I h of xi. Okay. The expected value of this, if you have seen already n elements, so if you have seen x1 till xn many elements, okay, these are distinct elements. Okay. So the thing to note here is that this computation will not be affected if you see one of the existing elements. Okay. The computation will only be affected if you see a distinct element. Okay. So now suppose you see a distinct element. Okay. Suppose you have seen n distinct elements. Okay. Then the expected value of this is 1 by n plus 1. Okay. So this is the result. Okay. So how do we show this result? Okay. So we will give a sort of a very high level proof. We will not go into a very rigorous proof. Okay. And this is a high level proof, but this is a very elegant proof. Okay. So and this proof is again courtesy Cohen and Cohen et al. Okay. So what do they do? Okay. So so they say, consider a circle, okay, with, let's say, circumference of 1. Okay. So this is a circle with a circumference of 1. Okay. Now, if you choose n plus 1 points uniformly at random on these circles. Okay. So how do you choose n plus 1 points uniformly at random? Basically, they just appear at let's say equal intervals, right? So that is one of the ways of doing uniformly at random. So let's say you do 4. Okay. Then n plus 1 intervals are formed, right? So n plus 1 intervals are formed. Okay. So in this case, 4 intervals has been formed: 1, 2, 3, and 4. And each interval is of an expected length 1 by n plus 1. Right. So each interval is of expected length 1 by n plus 1. So this is clear, right? Because you are splitting the circle into n plus 1 parts, and since you are splitting them uniformly, okay, each of this part is expected to be of equal length, and since there are n plus 1 parts, okay, the expected length of each part is going to be n plus 1. Okay. Now take any one of those points and cut the circle there. Okay. So without loss of generality, take the first point and cut the circle there. So you have cut it, and now you have these other 3 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have these other 3 points: 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So the length of these is still 1 by 4. But the number of points here is 3. Okay. Now consider these. So there are basically n points. Now consider that these n points were generated using the procedure that we just described here, which is that they are generated using a uniform hash function operating on the ith element, okay, ith distinct element. Okay, so there will be n such points, okay, which will be generated on the 0 1 interval, okay, and these n points, yeah, so there will be n such points, okay. Now in expectation, okay, all these points will be equidistant because they are all generated uniformly at random in this, okay. And secondly, okay, so there will be n plus 1 such intervals formed. Now what will be the minimum value? The minimum value will be this last value that appears. So the values can appear, so I have put it 2 3 4. It could be 3 2 3 2 4 or something like that, but the last value that appears here, okay, that will be the minimum value, and that value will be the length of one interval, okay, which is 1 by n plus 1. So the procedure that we just described, okay, the minimum value of this will be 1 by n plus 1. Okay, so what is our k minimum value sketch? Okay, so now see, we introduce k of these minimum values, okay, sorry, rather initialize k of these minimum values, okay, and sort of initialize each of them to 1, okay. uh, so once we do this, then for each of the jth points, or rather for each of the uh, j hash functions, okay, so there are for each of the k hash functions rather, okay, whenever a point xi comes, okay, we update this yj using this hj xi, okay, minimum of yj and hj xi, okay. So you remember that there are j hash functions h1 till, sorry, k hash functions h1 till hk, so each is indexed by j, okay. So for each of the k hash functions, uh, each correspond to y1 to yk of the initialized sketches. So we maintain the running minimum here. Okay. Now, so this is the sketch. Okay, this is what you maintain. You maintain this k numbers yj. Okay. Now, at the time of returning, okay, you just return 1 by y1. Okay, so remember that if your original number of values was n, okay, your expected value of this y is 1 by n plus 1. Okay, so we can say something like n will be 1 by y and then minus 1. So we ignore this minus 1. So let's say n is very high. Okay. So we ignore this minus 1. Okay. And we just return this 1 by y. Okay. So in some sense, each of these, so we should actually return n is equal to 1 by expectation of y. Okay, but instead what we are going to assume is that your sort of this samples of expectation of y are what we are getting in each of these yk. Okay, and then we are returning what is called this median of means of 1 by y. Okay, so this is clear. Okay, so now the question is, what is this k and what is this median of means? Okay, so now this k comes from this epsilon and delta approximation that we want to make. Okay, where you remember delta is the probability bound, so we want our bound to hold our guarantees to hold with probability 1 minus delta, and we want this estimate to be within n. Okay, so n hat estimate to be within n with 1 minus epsilon n and 1 plus epsilon n. Okay, so what do we do? Okay, so actually we take two components. Okay, so we are, even though we are maintaining k, actually this k has two components, one for ensuring this and then one for ensuring this, in that order. Okay, so the first component depend on epsilon. Okay, and basically you maintain c over 1 c over epsilon square. So okay, so basically order 1 over epsilon square many such estimates. Okay, and then you take mean over this. Okay, so you take, so let me put it okay, let me put this in a better manner. Okay, so and there are, so this is c over epsilon square, this is, sorry, this is c over epsilon square and so on and so forth, and this is c over epsilon square. Okay, now consider this, that you have log 1 over delta of this. Okay, so you have log 1 over delta buckets. Okay, each bucket has c over epsilon square many sketches, or yeah, so y's. Okay, and also you will need that many hash functions, so you will need a total of k, which is c over epsilon square times log 1 over delta many hash functions. Okay, now you group them into log over delta 1 over delta groups, each of size 1 over epsilon square. Okay, so let's say in each group you have this y1 till y c over epsilon square. Okay, now what you do is, and let this be group j. Okay, then you compute these zj as mean of 1 over y1 till 1 over y c by epsilon square. Okay, so so these are your estimates. Okay, from one observation or one of these k many sketches. Okay, so you take the mean of this. Okay, and the claim is that this zk with constant probability will lie within this region. Okay, so this is the first thing. Okay, that if you have something whose estimate is whose expectation, rather your expectation of 1 over y is your n hat, or rather in this case n. Okay, expectation of 1 over y is n. Okay, then if you take c over epsilon square of these, okay, you will get an estimate which is, so you will get, so you are getting this random numbers, okay, so you will get an estimate which is basically n hat, which is in this range with probability greater than half. Okay, so this is the first thing. And the second thing, we have already seen the median trick, which is you just return the median of these. Now we know that if we have such a thing and we return the median of these, okay, the probability that median crosses these bounds is actually 1 minus delta. Okay, or the probability that the median crosses the bound is probability delta. Okay, so then with probability 1 minus delta, we have made sure that the thing stays within this additive interval. Okay, so note that we have to now maintain c over epsilon square many, a factor of c over epsilon square many more this thing. So for example, if you want, so this log of 1 over delta was just something like, we saw that something like 10, right? But suppose you want, let's say within a factor of, let's say, 0.1. Okay, so if your so if whatever your n is, okay, so you want your n hat to lie between 0.9 n and 1.1 n. Okay, that means you want an epsilon of 0.1. Okay, that means 1 over epsilon square is roughly 100. Okay, so you have to actually use k equal to roughly like 1000, which is 100 times. So your number of sketches has increased a lot, but you have now got this very nice guarantee that you can get into any additive number, okay, depending on how many sketches you can maintain. Okay, so this is a running example. Okay, so just to make sure, so basically what you do, so in the first case, okay, you maintain 1 by 0.14. Okay, you maintain this vector, uh, okay, which is sorry, not so you have to maintain just the minimum. Okay, so you just maintain 0.14, okay, 0.7, 0.5 and 0.25. Okay, next this comes, so you maintain your first minimum stays 0.14 because 0.45 is sort of larger than this. Okay, 0.7 is larger, so this becomes 0.19. Okay, 0.5 is also larger, so this becomes 0.1, and 0.25 is also larger, so this becomes sorry, this becomes 0.25. Okay, so after seeing the second one, you get this. Okay, with red it does not change. Okay, then with turquoise it changes to 0.14. So turquoise is 0.21, so this does not change. 0.07, so this changes 0.07. Okay, 0.93, so this does not change, this is just 0.1. Okay, and this changes to 0.18. Okay, and then the last change happens when you put this one, and This is pretty much larger for everyone, so there is no change. Okay, so this is your final vector at the end of. Okay, so now you compute this 1 by 0.14, 1 by 0.07, 1 by 0.1, and 1 by 0.18. Okay, so this one will give roughly your something like 6 or 7, maybe 6. So 0.15, okay, so let's say roughly 7. This one will give roughly 14. Okay, this one will give 10, and this one will give 5. Okay, and now you take the median of mean estimate of this to get the actual answer. Okay, so depending on how you are doing grouping, so if you are grouping 2, then you take the mean of these two and mean of these two, and then you take the median of the result. Okay, so how much space is required? So as we told you, so you have to maintain order 1 over epsilon square times uh, log 1 by delta many estimates, and in this particular case you have to maintain uh, so you have to maintain this number y. Okay, and so how much should y be, right? So again, it is sufficient to maintain y with a precision such that you are able to distinguish all the n values. Okay, so and in order to do that, you just have to take basically log n many bits. Okay, so if you have log n many bits, okay, then you can basically distinguish between these n values. Okay, and then you can sort of scale them between 0 and 1, okay, to do the calculation. Okay, so that is why uh, you need this much space. Okay, so yeah, you don't need float, you can just use this, and we have told you how to do this. Okay, now the other thing is that every time, okay, you need to make order k many updates, and we know that order k is pretty large, so maybe you need to make something like 1000 many updates. Okay, but as we also saw in the dry run, most of the times you need not make any updates. Okay, so you need to make the updates only very few number of times. Okay, but yeah, in the worst case you need to make order k many updates depending on how your hash function turns out. Okay, and we have discussed this, that uh, uh, we get with probability 1 minus delta a bound something like this. Okay, and I have sort of discussed the calculation a little bit. We will not discuss the entire proof. Okay, but you can actually figure it out using expectation and Chernoff bound. Okay, maybe yeah, so we can discuss this. Now the question is, how do you do margin? Okay, so it's uh, so so uh, so your sketch is just, so for the first one, let's say there are two sketches, let's say S and S dash. So the first one, you have y1 till yk, and the second sketch you have uh, y1 dashed till yk dashed. Okay, now when you want to compute the estimate for S1 union S2, you just need to, so it is as though you need to find the minimum of each of these yi. So if you were running this streams all together, you will have only one. So let me put it like this. Okay, so let me put the notation here. This is y1 and this is y2. Okay, now suppose you are running it all together, both streams are coming to the same server. Okay, then you would just get this y1 till yk. Okay, and what will each of these yj be? Okay, these will not be nothing but minimum of these yj1 and yj2, right? So that is what is written here, that you just take the minimum of corresponding elements of the two sketches and then you return the estimate as usual. Okay, and that will be your sketch, that will be your estimate with the same guarantee for S1 union S2. Okay, uh, so and since you have got S1 union S2 and you can calculate, so this is the number of distinct elements in S1 union S2. So you can also calculate the number of distinct elements in S1 intersection of S2 as number of distinct elements in S1 plus number of distinct elements in S2 minus number of distinct elements in this. Okay, so and then you can do this. Okay, and so the reference for this, all this, is the lecture notes by Amit Chakravarti, which is available here. Okay.